the way that imperatives are formed are beginning with the second person imperfect, in this case 2ms imperfect, and we chop off the prefix pronoun, and that leaves us with the imperative form. So we have katol, which is the imperative form, kal, imperative, masculine singular, of kof, tate, lamed, to kill. So what we have here then is the imperative, which is the Nike of verb forms, and it means do it. So this is kill. And we could say you kill, but we can just say kill. And again, the way we parse it is we include the stem, the form, which is imperative. We only have to include the gender and the number, gender and the plurality, because all of them are second person, so that doesn't need to be included. So when we think through how all of the imperatives are formed, all that we need to do is chop off the prefix pronoun, and in every case, this gives us the imperative form. So for the kal of kof, tate, lamed, the masculine singular form is katol. The feminine singular form is kitli. The masculine plural form is kitlu. And the feminine plural form is katolina. So again, pretty simple. What we need to do is remember our imperfect forms and then just think through chopping off the prefix pronoun. So let's look at the example of shin mem ayin, to hear or to listen. And so if we take the prefix off of the imperfect form, tishma, we're left with the imperative. Genesis 21:12 says, Vayomer Elohim El Avraham Kol Ashur Tomar Elecha Sarah Shma Bakola. Subject is God, and God said to Abraham, all which Sarah says to you, obey her voice. So the imperative form is here, Shema, and very simply, this is just a command directly from God to Abraham, telling him to obey what Sarah tells him to do. Now in the case of a PL, we have exactly the same thing. So if we take the word tavakashu, y'all will seek, we chop off the prefix pronoun, we're left with the imperative form, bakashu. Zephaniah 2:3 says, bakashu et Hashem kol anvei haaretz. So here we have, the prophet says, seek the Lord, all the oppressed of the land. So we kind of have this as who's being addressed by the prophet, all you oppressed of the land, seek the Lord. So we would parse this, PL, imperative, masculine, plural. Now the same verb in the singular, different verb, excuse me, but in the singular, to daber, the imperative of this is going to be daber. This is also in the PL form. That's what I meant a second ago. Well, let's look at a case or two where there is a softening to adjussive sense. Vayomer Shamuel daber ki shomea avdecha. subject is Samuel, and Samuel said, "Speak, for listening is your servant." The term listening here is the participle form. We notice that Samuel uses the command, daber, but since he's speaking to one with authority, he's speaking to the voice of the Lord. We would probably want to put this as with a Joseph sense. Speak, I pray, or may you speak to me, for your servant is listening. Something to just, there's probably that Joseph sense with this because of who he's speaking to. And then here's an example in 2 Samuel 13, where Tamar speaks to her brother Amnon, pleading with him not to rape her. We have, Va'ata daberna el ha-melech. And she says, and now, or but now, speak, I pray, to the king. So here Tamar, she uses the command, daber, but it is marked with the Joseph marker. So here we have explicitly she's just urging. So it's a more than just a command, but we would probably translate this, but now speak, I pray, or I plead with you, or I urge you, to the king. So she's asking Amnon to speak with David. Perhaps David would give Tamar to him, even though it's an incestuous relationship. Who knows if she's just trying to get out of being raped or what the deal is. And one final example involves the Hiphil form of the imperative. Notice here with tashlich, imperfect masculine singular, we just chop off the front, and we have left for us shaf, hashlech. But you'll notice that in the masculine singular imperative, we have the apocryphated form of the Hiphil, so it looks a little bit more like the Joseph rather than the imperfect. Now, in the case of the plural, tashlichu, we chop off the prefix pronoun, and what we expect is the hey reappears just like it does in the singular. But you'll notice that the Hirik Yod in between the ayin and the lamed letters remains in the plural form. So Psalm 55:23 says, Hashlech al Hashem Yachavacha. So here we have, cast upon the Lord your burden. And in Ezekiel 18 we have, Hashlichu me alechem et kol pish'echem, which is cast from upon you all your transgressions. So first, take note that we have the plural form with the Hirik Yod remains in Hashlichu for a plural imperative, y'all cast. However, for the singular, Hashlech, we have the apocryphated form. Now, in both cases, the masculine singular imperative agrees with the pronominal suffix. Your personal burden, cast it upon the Lord. And in the case of the plural, Hashlichu, upon y'all and your y'all's transgressions. So here we have the masculine plural pronominal suffixes, which matches up with the command, y'all cast from upon you your transgressions.